Blockchain is a system of recording information in such a way that makes changing or hacking information impossible, where information is stored in blocks that are chained onto the previously filled block, forming a chain of data. This system consists of a network of computers that use a digital ledger that is duplicated and distributed to each block in the chain. Therefore, every time a new transaction occurs in this blockchain, it's added to and accounted for in every participant's ledger. This eliminates the threat of creating false information because all network participants have access to this ledger, and if any transaction record has an error, a new transaction must be added to reverse it, which also is visible to everyone in the blockchain. This is important because when anything of value is tracked and traded over these blockchains, the fact that only a single view of the truth exists means you can see every detail of a transaction, giving everyone in the blockchain a sense of transparency and confidence. Blockchains are encrypted and decentralized, making transactions incorruptible as each record can easily be verified. This network can't be taken down or influenced by any person in particular due to the fact that it doesn't just exist in one place. These characteristics make it extremely valuable in the world of voting, where currently doubts on the efficiency of our current process exist. However, many of these problems can be eliminated with the implementation of a blockchain system. Voters would effectively be able to cast their votes without revealing their identity or political preferences to the public. Officials would be able to count votes with absolute certainty, as each ID is attributed one vote. No fakes would be able to be made, and no hacking or tampering with anyone else's votes would be possible. The most common use of blockchain exists in the world of cryptocurrency, where encryption and speed are at the forefront of what is needed to ensure the safety of its users. Bitcoin, for example, uses a collection of computers to store this blockchain, where each computer is not controlled by the same entity. Instead, they're operated by a single individual or a group of individuals. Each one of these computers is a full record of the data that has been stored in the blockchain since its creation. If a single person has an error in its data, it has thousands of other people as a reference point to correct itself. In effect, no one person can make changes to information within the network, making the culmination of transactions in each block of Bitcoin's blockchain irreversible. Any change that would be made would have to be agreed upon by a majority of this decentralized network, making sure that any changes that do occur are accounted for and in the best interests of the majority. Any sector that deals with a large influx of assets being distributed to a wide range of users have been slowly gravitating towards implementing blockchain. One company in particular is BNP Paribas, a French bank and European leader in financing cinema. In order to finance films, BNP requires a large amount of investment, spanning from a wide range of individuals, each belonging to a distinct sector. This means that BNP has to take on the daunting task of keeping track of all these individuals and the exchange of assets between them. However, a new interface centralized on the efficiency of blockchain would enable investors to secure the flow and the distribution of investment from one sector to another. This would be particularly beneficial to BNP as they already have a system with every key player involved in the process. Therefore, transferring this knowledge to a new model wouldn't require them to completely restart. However, a new system that offers many advantages, such as an increase in liquidity and fund transparency, which may make other banks trying to fund large projects follow the same model. Therefore, the advantage BNP would incur would last only as long as other banks don't implement the same structure. Where BNP would be met with competition, society would be able to reap the benefits of simplicity of these new fundraising tactics for large projects. Despite blockchain's possibilities for innovation in a wide variety of sectors, the mass adoption of blockchain still won't be in the near future. The current process for currency exchange using blockchain technology requires a list of complicated steps in order to complete the transaction. In addition, blockchain transactional speeds are currently very slow, as they can only handle around 15 transactions per second. making people unwilling to switch over from existing cross-border payment alternatives that currently outperform blockchain-based applications. Therefore, the mass inception of blockchain is incredibly dependent on these factors, but similar to the rise of the internet, most of us just aren't really sure what we're dealing with. It's too complicated. But once enough progress has been made and people become more familiar with its properties, innovation will soar and we will discover more uses for it. South Sudan is an extremely impoverished nation, riddled with conflict and violence, that makes any sort of progress very gradual. The presence of an informal economy currently exists due to the lack of economic security and high costs of doing business. Without adequate participation in a framework that records asset ownership, poverty can be extremely difficult to overcome. This absence of property rights is then met with the lack of the rule of law and limited access to banking facilities that are essential to promoting growth and a healthy economy. Currently, 82.3% of the population in South Sudan lives in poverty. However, a blockchain system would create a database to document ownership and therefore reduce the presence of an informal economy, as the blockchain would be irreversible. Once people can document their ownership, it gives them the ability to prove their existence, in turn, increasing the availability of banking facilities. It would still take a while for the rest of the dominoes to fall into place, but implementing a decentralized blockchain system would be a great place to start.